I was gonna say, otherwise we could table it until next week.
Yeah, till next month, yes.
Well, even, yeah, or next week if people want to come on. A lot of these people only come on once a month. Um, but we could try to do it next week if Kathy's available. I don't know if
Right.
she has every Thursday or not. Okay, well, that's kind of, anybody want to share about it? Because I've never used it.
I never even heard of it. I didn't know there was such a thing.
Yeah.
I'm planning to work with it soon with some little projects, but they're part of a kit.
I've made eggs, broken eggs on, you just put a little pool of the clear and then make a little Fimo ball in yellow or Sculpey in yellow and make the yolk. And they look
Oh.
quite effective.
That's interesting. Yes.
I've seen it used a lot for like frosting tops on cupcakes or like a Cool Whip effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
And
that's
you can
what,
use the clear one to glaze it like you do your sausages. Put a little drop to make it really clear. So that there's pattern bowl or something, make them realistic.
How liquid is it?
It's quite liquid.
Yeah.
It
It
is very
pours.
liquid.
it
Oh.
pours, Marcia.
Oh, it does
Barbara.
pour.
It-
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, I
it-
was
and
thinking of
it
the
goes into a
soft
you can put
resin.
it into a mold, and just like you do clay, and
Yeah.
it hardens in the oven.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Or some of it may harden in the sun, when it dries out. I'm not exactly sure. It depends on the type of clay, I believe, that is used.
Well,
I'll
we were
show you.
talking about Sculpey here.
Yeah, I think it's oven.
So it would be a liquid
Yeah.
clay.
Yeah,
could be
it's liquid
dry.
clay that I'm talking about. I got some, as a matter of fact, Jackie Brown sent me a little tube of it. And then I bought some in Michael's, I believe it was, or one of the hobby stores around here, Michael's or Hobby Lobby. And I did use a little bit of it, and I used it just like I use clay. You put it into the mold and you bake it. And it's just a different form of the clay.
Mm.
Tonight I did something which made resin really useful for me. These little scissors broke. This little thing broke off these scissors, this little handle, which makes them useless. So I took a little bit of resin that I have, the
Resin.
light UV light resin, put it right here just like I would glue, and stuck it underneath the light and hardened it so I could use my scissors again.
Nice.
Oh,
Oh,
that's good
I've
to
seen
know.
like a moldable resin like that used for concepts similar to that. So that was very clever.
That
These,
was.
I had actually broken a couple of pairs of these, and I really was very irritated because when you break that little thing off, it's just it wouldn't stay glued. And I thought, I wonder how resin will do, because it hardens really hard. So I'll let you know. It's what I've just
Oh,
done.
yes.
That's a good idea, Jackie. I'm going to have to go at that.
Oh, she's
No
talking
one-
about liquid resin as opposed to liquid clay, though.
Yeah.
So
Right, it's liquid resin. This is what I get that I like to use, but I try to wash my hands, and I don't want to use it very much, frankly. I'm just played with it a little bit. It's colored raised. I get different colors. I
What's
got
the
it from
brand of that
Temu.
one?
I get it from Temu, and it's what I found from them that they have. It's very tiny little drops, and it's very tiny little bit, and whatever I don't know. I can't pronounce it. It's some Chinese name.
Okay, that's the same one that my friend is using, and she absolutely loves it.
They may have different brands on Temu. I don't know. It's just, I did read about that treble, and I did hear Kate talk about the dangers of resin. So I went and looked, and I'm not a resin fanatic. I've never done it on my nails. I've never played with it before. I just wanted to see what I could do with it, and I've enjoyed it. It's just a new thing to fiddle with.
Okay, Elaine just came on. Elaine, can you give us an update of the financial?
Yes, give me 1 second, and my apologies, because we just finished dinner and I had totally lost track of the time.
So are you still in Florida or are you home?
Yeah, we're in Florida.
Okay.
Okay, we have a current balance of $1,594.92.
Okay,
Okay, so Shirley can update that.
And
And that's
again,
that's
my
for,
apologies.
is that after Barbara's postage?
Yes,
Okay,
that's as of today.
all right.
So everybody send in all of your donations to Valerie so we
and
can raise some
Valerie, right, I know, I've been making a box here for her. So, so get your stuff together and get it to her soon, please.
One
we-
thing that I know from Kathy Price about the liquid Sculpey, whatever. If you've got chemo or polymer clay items that you've made, or maybe even out of the liquid before, but you can put a little of the Sculpey on if you want to glue two pieces together
Mm.
and then
Oh,
bake them.
really?
Yeah,
That's what
Oh,
I
And
bought mine
rebake
for
it.
already.
that's the one thing I know from her. I don't know how to do it. I've never done it, but
oh, but
Here's
it's,
liquid
It falls
Sculpey.
off or something, you can stick it on quite easily.
Here's some liquid Sculpey that I bought. That's
Oh,
not
wow.
that's not in a it's in a different thing. This is some that comes in a package that I got.
Wow, every
Hmm.
color known to man. Wow. You've really, I
I-
don't.
so
with
can you
clay
use
block-
those in the silicone molds? And bake?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
you can.
they're very popular right now for decorating phone cases.
Ah,
Oh, really?
Yep.
Interesting. Wow. If I knew how to make roses, I'd make roses all over my phone case, but
all you have to do is get Ruth Stewart's mold. She has it in different sizes. It makes beautiful little roses. I know I made them because I couldn't make roses, and that it does make roses. Seriously, you can do that. Here's a rose. Take a look at this. I painted it white because it did not come out of the resin this color, but here is
can
a
you
rose.
spotlight her? Oh, there. Yeah. Oh, it is. That's very nice. Yes. Oh, wow.
She
It's a
has
whole-
different sizes too that you can do. And
a
they're,
whole
it's
world.
incredibly, they're really pretty.
Was that out of liquid?
Yeah.
Or was that out of the regular?
Actually, this was out of these. I believe I made these out of resin, but I've made them out of clay too. I've made the teeny tiny ones out of clay to put on top of cakes.
Huh.
The reason I got it, I put the clay and they work just as well as the resin does. I mean, and her molds are fabulous. Her
They
molds,
really are.
they're expensive, but they're fabulous.
Yeah.
I
So
have-
where did you get your liquid Sculpey?
I got it at one of the hobby stores, Barbara.
And so though that rose you just showed us was liquid resin rather than Sculpey?
This was liquid resin that I just, that one, but
Oh.
I have a bunch of cakes that I made that are really, really pretty little cakes that I did using the
liquid
clay,
Sculpey.
using the clay in the mold that here, let's see. Here it
Anywhere
is.
that sells Primo or Sculpey or any of those, they will have the liquid version as well.
Okay, here's a little box that I made of here we go again. This will probably show it better. See if you can see it through this and I don't have to. All right, one more time. These are made with Ruth Stewart's mold,
Oh, right. I remember when you made those, right?
and they're made out of clay.
Oh, boy. I might
And
have
they
to.
make
Really pretty.
beautiful roses. And it's an incredible, I mean, I was just shocked at how perfect that little mold is.
So when you make them, you bake them in the mold and then pop them out?
I
Um,
do.
I think that's my problem with the molds. I think I tried to get them out before I bake them.
There's a
You
different color.
can. I've taken them out of the molds and baked them and they've still worked great. But
No, why don't
probably
you just
not with a
leave 'em in
liquid
there?
one.
Didn't work good
Leave
for
them in the
me.
Leave them in the molds and bake them. I have a separate oven I bought that is just a toaster oven that gives me the temperature and the timer. And so my baker, Gary, I call him, he picks up my mold, he takes it down and puts it in my oven. 270, I believe it is, for 15 to 20 minutes is all it takes. I mean, these are teeny tiny, So, you know, you'd probably do it a little bit longer if it was a little bit bigger. Oh, here's a whole bunch of the roses. I just did a whole bunch of roses in a little thing, different colors, so that I could use them on top of the cakes I was making. I've just made up a supply because I was doing exchanges with people. And so
Yeah,
I love it. It makes their cakes just darling in the scale. I mean,
yes.
just lifts them up to a different, you know, different level. Anyway, that's my story.
I might be able to do it with the liquid. I have not been successful with regular clays in the molds. I'm not good at it.
You would be good with hers, I can tell you. You just push it in there, you make sure it's down in there, and you leave it and you bake it. And I mean, it's foolproof.
Yeah, I didn't know I was supposed to bake it in the mold. That's the problem I had.
I didn't
I-
know that before either.
I
The
just couldn't get it
silicone
out.
mold, yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't know how you would get clay that's still soft out of the mold in one piece.
Right.
Right.
No,
If you
I,
didn't bake
well,
it
I
first.
made
break
the,
it.
sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
I couldn't.
When I was making the peeps, the mold is very pliable, so I was able to fold the mold and they popped right out onto my silicone baking sheet. And that way I could I made like 40 and then I could bake all 40 of them at once.
Wow.
Because
Well,
otherwise,
it depends
if I
upon
baked
the
them in the
size.
mold.
It depends
Well, they were
upon
the
the
112
size.
scale.
They're what?
They're 112 scale.
That's what I'm talking about. It depends upon the size. That would be
Oh.
easier to deal with than trying to deal with a quarter scale, little teeny tiny thing and get it out of a mold, keep it in one piece. It's just almost, no wonder, Barbara, it's really hard to do that, but to
Yeah.
bake it in the thing.
Yeah, but these are the size of a sprinkle.
Just a minute.
Oh, wow.
Hmm,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
that's tidy.
And I even see here's the chicks that were in that mold.
Oh,
Hold on.
All I see is a dot on your finger.
Oh,
I know, right? That's all it is, man. And I had to put eyes on them too.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Lovely.
So, and
I think-
like I said, I kept pushing them in there and popping them out and then onto the silicone mat and then I baked them.
Oh,
I think
wow.
the ambient temperature where you live can help as well. It's cool here. I can always turn them out, but
Yeah.
people, if it's too hot, you couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
I would also think it would depend on the complexity of the piece you're molding.
Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah.
it's got too many little bitty parts to it, so to speak, I'm not sure it would come out so cleanly as something more solid, like, I don't know, I'm thinking a loaf of bread. A loaf of
Well,
bread
I made
would
a-
pop
I made
right
a-
out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I made a sleeping baby, but the mold curves round underneath it as well, and that doesn't come out well at all.
yeah,
That would be worth baking and then
yeah.
turning out.
Yeah, I was trying, I think, quarter scale cupcakes. And I couldn't get them out. I wanted to make a bunch so I could pull them out and bake them, but I couldn't do it. Other people do it all the time, but Ruth does it, not me. Anyway, I was not very successful. I have never been very successful with clay, so I don't work with it a lot. I'm a wood person. Anyway, all right. Does anybody else have something to share about that? Well, lively discussion tonight, ladies.
One thing I'm trying to kind of work on is projects, do it yourself type thing. And there's a file on the MCC Groups.io files, DIY. And there's a few YouTube links of places to go to look to see things that people have made. But if anyone has any other links that aren't on that list, if they would send them to me, I can start another list or whatever and get that on the files. Also, or just patterns and things that you've made, as long as it's not copyrighted. And I don't know if we took something from, like, say, an old Nutshell News. And as long as it was on there, the nutshell, that it came from Nutshell News, is that okay? As long as, does anyone know?
Ah,
If we posted that, but it says right on it that it came from Nutshell News, is that acceptable by copyright laws and stuff?
honestly, I don't know. And I don't know, since it doesn't exist anymore, if
I
that's
think
an
copyright
issue.
laws goes for 100 years or so. I don't know. Or who?
I,
if
I,
you-
I, I don't know. I don't know.
I
But
think
anyway,
if it was willingly shared in a publication, then it's everybody's right to use it.
yeah,
That's not true. I mean,
not for
it's in the
resale, though.
magazine, it is copyrighted,
Yeah,
so. But
for
yeah,
yourself.
I don't know.
yes,
That's a good
but-
question. I don't know the answer.
I don't either. We need a patent attorney. We need a copyright attorney in this
Yeah.
group.
Yes, one that works for free for name.
Yeah.
We have,
Yeah,
So,
we
there you
have,
go.
Yeah. So,
Barbara,
I've only filed my own.
we have one in Petty Pointers.
Good.
One of the members happens to be an attorney.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And I know we've had this discussion there before, but I don't remember what the bottom line was. I can try to remember to ask and let
Right.
you know.
Oh, thank you, Elaine.
And you notice I said, try to remember to ask,
yeah.
so
Well, you do that, and you can
Okay.
report back next month.
I will try.
If you
You have
remember,
homework now.
Look,
you're
if I
gonna get
can't
to your meeting
remember,
and you're gonna get to your meeting and you're gonna say, there's something I was supposed to.
Right.
Oh,
listen, if I
remember
can't
what.
remember to check the clock, and I knew it was at 7 our time, Eastern time, and we got up from the dinner table and I said, what time is it? 7:30, and I went, oh, so, yeah, what can I tell?
So anyway, if anyone does have things that they have come up with themselves as do-it-yourself from scratch items, send a photo and instructions to me, and I can get it on our MCC files. And it might be something that could go to the Gazette too.
Right, you might like it in there.
And that is
Right.
one thing too, on the Gazette, you go to the name website, home, and a drop down is magazine index. And say you want plans to make a table. You put table in, type it in, and enter whatever. And a whole list of the magazines, mini magazines that have plans or whatever about a table will come on. Then all you have to do is find those magazines. If it's a Gazette, you can go member section and bring up the Gazette that it's listed in.
If you're a member.
Right. Well,
You're
a name,
not a
member
member.
is, and you can get into
Yeah.
the member section and bring up the Gazette that's listed and flip through and find the instructions for that item.
Speaking of that, it's Kelly.
Uh-huh.
If you happen to run across something in your searches where it's in an American miniaturist magazine,
Yes.
let me know because I have it from issue 1.
Oh, that's good to know.
Okay, that too. Yeah, I don't know if other magazines have an index like Gazette does, or if it would be, you'd have to pay to get it, or I have
I
no
really
idea on
wish
that.
they would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, does anybody have anything else you'd like to discuss here? This is our meeting, and I think we're probably done for now. I think you could stop recording
Right.
probably.
That's what I'm gonna do if I can figure out how to do it. Oh, there it
I'm
is.
going to make one more comment about the liquid Sculpey.
Yes.
Oh,
I think I have heard that you can also use it to combine 2 pieces of clay that you're working that have been pre-baked.
Yes.
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 So you build on it
Right.
and not have to bake it all at the same time.
Right.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
you
I've never
glue it
done that.
together with the liquid Sculpey and then rebake.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact,
I find if you want to do a doll and dress it in Sculpey or something like that, if you have it all raw, by the time you've held tightly on, whilst you wrap something else around, you've squashed the original part out of shape. Bake it lightly, then use the Sculpey and put the rest on.
Mhm.
oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and
Makes it a lot easier. Yeah.
when baking the polymer clays, if in doubt about how long or whatever, if you bake at a lower temperature, you can go longer time in the oven.
Yes, I do
The
it in
higher
small
temperature, you'll come out with
pieces.
charcoal.
Yeah, I've got some brown leather gloves that started off as pink flesh ones, but I have baking powder, or what would you call it? It is baking powder, you know,
Yeah,
for
we call it
cooking.
bake. Yeah.
And I put some little foil dishes and fill that with baking powder, and any little pieces like hands and things I bury in there. They'll still bake well, but they don't burn.
Oh,
Oh, that's a
interesting. So
very
you
good
just
tip.
mix it in there. Oh, yes.
Oh, and then you sieve it out afterwards. I've got a tea strainer that I sieve all my bits out with afterwards.
Oh, that
But
is a good tip.
yeah,
I've known
uh,
people who use the cornstarch for the molds to
Yeah.
help pop them out earlier, easier.
but this is just you just bake with it in, you know.
That's
Mhm.
fabulous.
And I've also got a foil dish which a bendy one, you know, one of these you bake pre
Yeah.
dinners sort of thing. I bend a cover with that, and anything that's likely to get burnt, I put that over the top to prevent the grill making it too brown or anything like that. So the brown leather gloves come out quite well. They weren't intended to be brown leather gloves, obviously. But yeah,
Yeah, it was a couple years ago on Zoom here. One person baked some Fimo and everything came out black.
Mm.
all right if you want to go monochrome, I suppose.
You couldn't
Okay.
use it as black gloves.
Or a shadow thing. You could do like one of these silhouette pictures.
Oh, yeah, the silhouette picture with your black things. There you go. Oh, funny. Okay, that's good. That's good.